Thank you and good morning. Who would have thought a few years ago that owning less would be more valuable? Yet here we are, we stream music rather than owning it. We share workspace, and we store our data on servers, on shared servers somewhere on the cloud. We now live in a sharing economy. This sharing of resources and infrastructure has fundamentally changed so many industries and caused disruption in a positive way. And it has enabled many new business models where anything is available as a service. And this is really useful, especially at a time when you're dealing with uncertainty. People and businesses are using these new initiatives to create more value to our consumers by pooling together the resources. And who's more aware of uncertainty than the bank branch? So we've been sailing uncertainty for as far as I can remember, at least 12 years by the last count. But now we've reached a stage where the fundamental economics of a bank branch have changed. The footfall is down, let's face it, with the adoption of online. And we have arrived at the less cash society much faster than we anticipated. And to survive this new era, we have to change the business model. We've been aware of this change for a while, and we've heard of so many great initiatives over the past 12 years in this conference, which were all, by the way, designed to drive further engagement in the bank branch, from yoga classes to art exhibitions, which basically promote local art, creating community hubs where SMEs can come in and use the branch and start conversations. Coffee has become synonymous with banking, which is good for me. Even dog biscuits. And all of these work great. They deliver value. But one thing that we've learned over the past few years is that the fundamental shift in the business model is so great that we need to do more. And we continue to see branches continue to fall significantly. Now, I have no doubt in my mind that when you make the decision to close a bank branch, it is a difficult one because you're aware that a proportion of your customers, however small, is being left behind with a suboptimal experience. And these are your loyal customers. But you've had to make these decisions for the reasons I've explained earlier, but also because of competitive pressures. Digital-only banks have started to take a bigger proportion of the current account switch. And there is an intense pressure on you to digitize. But we have to pause and think, are we eroding our own competitive advantage? Digital transformation is an imperative, but it does not have to come at the cost of your competitive advantage. We have to move away from product and features and focus on transformation of the business model in a way that supports your competitive advantage. We believe it is now possible to have a bank branch that is local, that is at a place where your consumers, your customers are, that provides basic advice that they need, provides transaction service, and so on. Technology has evolved to a stage where you can actually continue to offer a personalized service, a differentiated service within a shared infrastructure. So we're at a continuum where we went from automation to save cost, provide better experience to our customers. We went to outsourcing, we went to managed services, but we've now arrived at the sharing economy, and we believe this is where we can really solve customers' problem in a less usage era. As Glory, we invest in and support fintechs that are working to create these new business models and bring them to life, combining our experience with their agility. And one such fintech that I would like to introduce you to today is OneBanks.
Thanks, Javid, and hello everyone. My name is Duncan Coburn, and I founded OneBanks at the beginning of 2020 to actually address many of the challenges and opportunities that Javid's highlighted. So to start, I'm going to give you a story, actually a personal story about my gran. She lives up at the top of Scotland, as you can probably tell by my accent. And she used to love going to the local bank branch. She used to go every single week. But then it closed. And now she has to go to the nearby town by bus and the branch to access the branch. And it's only open a few days a week. And she's often greeted by a queue. She feels that she's no longer supported at a time of her life where she needs the support now more than ever to keep in touch with her finances and to interact with the bank. When a bank branch closes, the impact that it has on the community and on the relationship between the bank in question and that community can be significant. Consumers and small businesses, particularly those that still need access to cash or are less digitally confident, feel abandoned. These customers trust the bank, once enjoyed and benefited from face-to-face and personalised support, and may also lack the confidence to use digital-only channels. So I know it's early and everyone's probably wanting the coffee break, but we're going to play a quick game. So before the pandemic, actually just a few weeks ago, we spoke to one of the heads of one of the largest UK banks, and he told us that before the pandemic, 30% of their SME and retail customer base were yet to sign up to online banking. As we emerge now from the other side of from the pandemic, what do we think that number is now? Okay, so I'm going to ask, put your hands up if you think it's less than 10%. So a few of you. Okay, put your hands up if you think it's now between 10 and 20%. Probably about half of you. And now put your hands up if you still think it's above 20%. So I think there's a balance there between 10 and 20 and above 20. It's still 30%. It's not shifted. There's still 30% of this bank's customers that have yet to move to online banking. I started OneBanks to drive financial inclusion and to help bridge the gap between where banking was 30 years ago and its undoubted shift right now to a digital present and future. And technology, as we've discussed, is an incredibly powerful enabler to help us engage with everyone in society and to harness the latest innovation for the benefit of all. But we can't just switch off physical and move to digital. We need to embrace the concept of phygital, which is a combination of both physical and digital. We need to realize that this is a journey that people are on. It's a digital evolution. We need to ensure that customers have the proper choice about how they want to interact with the bank and manage their finances. And we need to support those customers who are less digitally savvy or confident on their journey. And to do this, OneBanks enables a shared infrastructure branch model. We bring the shared economy that Javid mentioned to banking by offering a cost-effective and expert face-to-face support to help customers transition to the digital world. At its heart, OneBanks is a technology platform which helps enable you, the banks, to maintain or even broaden a cost-effective physical presence on the high street to support your full customer base. And we've brought the concept of open banking to life. So as many of you will be used to now going onto your phone to view all of your different accounts, balances and transactions in one single interface, you can now do that at a OneBanks kiosk in person. You can do all of your everyday banking, whether that's cash deposits, cash withdrawals, simply want to speak to someone, you can do that at OneBanks kiosk. And over the last year, we've gone live with 3 sites in Scotland, all in areas which are underbanked. Initially, we went live in Denny, which is just outside Falkirk. And we went live in April, so it was just after lockdown, when a lot of people still felt uncomfortable with face-to-face interactions, which I can completely relate to. But at the same time, a lot of people realised how important that human interaction is, especially for their mental health. So actually relished the fact that there was that human interaction and face-to-face support that's coming back into the community. We provided a convenient location in the heart of Denny, which again helped avoid unnecessary travel time, which is particularly important for small businesses who still need that physical touch point. The journey to date has been fascinating, and what we initially thought was a great customer experience wasn't actually the case. We've had to listen to the feedback from the community and adapt to make sure that our service meets the needs of the consumer. So I'll give you a few examples of that. The first example is we went live with biometric authentication. I was really excited about this. I thought the concept of merging identity exclusion with financial exclusion in one service, in one solution, was incredibly powerful. And I still do think that is the case. But a lot of people didn't feel comfortable with biometric authentication, using their faces, and they thought they were on the system. A concept. I get that. So we've had to listen and we've adapted. We've gone live with QR code authentication, and as I'm sure all of you here will be using QR codes throughout the whole of lockdown, whether it's checking into track and trace or looking at a menu. So a lot of people have become more used to that, which just shows small incremental changes to technology. This isn't a massive drastic change. We need to ensure that it's done at the pace that people feel comfortable with. A second example is we put quite a lot of time and effort into this kiosk design. It's got different journeys that people can use. However, one thing that we did try to do initially is try to make it as open and welcoming as possible. However, feedback from the community and from people said that they actually value the private conversations, those conversations where you can really build the relationship with who you're speaking to. And as a result, again, we've had to learn and adapt to the bespoke needs of the community. So this is actually the design of the second kiosk, which has more private feel around it, and our third kiosk, which is even more private. And the last point I wanted to make was the importance of locality. People trust people that they know. We've gone live with a digital solution to help solve a physical problem, and getting people to do that transition is often quite difficult. We've hired locally, and we've got people working in the kiosk who the community already know and trust. So actually getting people to convert to online banking, to use OneBanks, to use open banking, which underpins what we do, has been really successful. In fact, honestly, this is probably the proudest thing I can say of the OneBanks journey to date, is the fact that 10% of our customers never had online banking before using OneBanks. And if you compare that back to the 30% that's not been able to move, that conversion is incredible. And it just shows how important that local impact is. So I've spoken about the OneBanks journey. So how can we think about automation and collaboration to drive great customer experiences? Well, I think, as I said, automation and collaboration are key. They're key to driving great customer experiences to allow people to interact with their bank however, wherever, and whenever they want. And I'll give you a few examples of how I think automation and collaboration can be used to really drive this forward. So the first is the concept of a hyper-personalized solution. So the shared economy, in the form of a shared infrastructure branch model, has the opportunity to provide you with a solution which is substantially lower cost than operating a traditional branch network. The branch experience can be completely repurposed with the introduction of initially open banking, where consumers can share their basic transactional data with a third party, their accounts and balances, moving to open data, which is even more sharing, and now open finance, which is going to enable a consumer to share their entire financial footprint with a third party. And that data sharing is incredibly powerful. It enables third parties to really understand their customers and ensure that the solutions, services, products that they offer that consumer are completely bespoke to the needs, their specific needs, irrespective of who they bank with. It's hyper-personalized and it's completely focused on the consumer, and I think that will continue to be even more important going forward. The next point is open banking. So open banking enables not just data sharing, but it also enables third parties to initiate payments on behalf of the banks. So it enables pay-by-bank functionality to be used, and it can enable new and innovative solutions to be built on top of faster payments. And again, that creates new ways for people to interact with their bank. As more and more people use their phone as a digital wallet, open banking can enable cardless cash deposits and cash withdrawals in an ATM. This supports a future which is cardless but not yet cashless. And I repeat that, cardless but not yet cashless. I do think that's where we're going. And it provides a solution which turns analog money into digital money in real time, which is a really brilliant concept. If you want to try it out, it's actually downstairs at the Glory stand, where we've got a live deposit solution for any bank. You can change, if you've got £20 in your wallet, feel free to turn that straight into digital money. It's really cool how it works. And the last point is the flexible, bespoke deployment. So it's become apparent that in a post-COVID world, there's less need for people to live or work in metropolitan areas, with more and more people moving out to smaller communities. This creates more localized economies and an increased need for businesses, including banks, to have a more geographically distributed presence. And customer needs are evolving at a rapid rate. And open APIs, like open banking, enable solutions to be delivered at pace, catered to the bespoke needs of the community. And I say bespoke because even on our journey, we've learned how bespoke the needs are of each community, and they can be delivered in the focal point of the community. However, digital transformation is being measured in years and not months. And it limits the agility for financial services to actually meet the growing number of needs of these consumers. With the unbundling of financial services that's taken place over the last decade, there's an opportunity now to actually collaborate with fintechs and create new ways of servicing entire customer bases, such that they can have great customer experiences however, wherever, and whenever they want. We're in the middle of a digital evolution, not a revolution, and we need to support all customers on their journey. By continuing to offer expert in-person support, we can help retain the trust and confidence that people have in their bank. Bank branches have been at the epicenter of trust in banking for decades, and this can't be replaced overnight. Of course, banking is moving digital, and we'll all be talking about that today. But this doesn't mean the end of face-to-face banking and human interaction. Branch provision needs to evolve into a shared infrastructure model, which is both highly digital, but also highly physical, highly personal, and highly human, to ensure that everybody can be part of this digital evolution. Javid articulated a shared economy, where customer experience expectations have changed and evolved. In banking, these customers expect convenient locations which are focused on finance, face-to-face financial guidance, support with accessing digital services, privacy, and the personal touch. And I believe that the banks want to offer the same, provided it can be low cost. Welcome to One Banks. We would love to talk to you more about how we're delivering shared infrastructure and how we're bringing the shared economy to banking. And if you want to come and learn more about it, please come to the Glory stand, which is downstairs. But thank you for listening.